No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me sip some.
Let me know when you're ready for me to say it again. She's sipping on her tea, but this is some good tea.
This is some really good tea. So, all right, guys, we're just pressing record for the first time, and I didn't want you guys to miss any of this. So we're recording now, all right? And so Yolanda and I are talking. Don't worry, you guys are going to get the introduction and all that good stuff, but we decided to let you guys in on this background stuff here. So Yolanda and I are talking, and Yolanda's fixing her hair,
yes,
trying to get the lighting right. She looks absolutely beautifully, naturally gorgeous. And so I'm sharing with her about the Savitri Wilson chat. And before Savitri and I got on, we went through the same thing. We were trying to fix, well, Savitri, she was relaxed. She was in her hoodie. She had just got off of a plane. And so, of course, I'm prepared for the chat. So I just kind of spruce up a little bit. But so here we are trying to fix ourselves, making sure that we look just right, just perfect, you know. And something about that chat with Savitri taught me a lesson. It said to just come as you are, whatever you're feeling good in, right, Yolanda, that is how you're coming. That is how you're coming, you know. Right. So today I felt like I wanted to have some yellow, so I did. And, you know, it's not about the presentation. It just feels good. Right now, currently, I have no shoes on. My feet look huge in this angle. So what?
So I'm going to show you. I have no shoes on.
Yeah, we are. Hey, listen.
And my toes are polished.
That's cute. And the toes are polished. Okay, it's all good. We're all good. We're gonna relax.
That.
Yeah, we're gonna relax into this thing. This is what feels good. This is what feels good. Yes. So yeah, but us women, we're so always concerned or focused on, you know, on what it looks like, and not to say, you know, you don't do things that make yourself feel good. If it's, you know, doing your hair a certain color, that's fine. If it's wearing makeup or not wearing makeup, that's fine. But it's so funny how we are always concerned and sprucing ourselves. And I wonder how guys do. I wonder if they, hey man, you know I look so.
You know, they do it by making sure they have a beard, they, you know, taped up or stuff like that. But guys don't have that.
No pressure
like women do. Like they don't have, and when I mean pressure, like they're never pressed.
That's true.
For like trying to, you know, look nice or whatever. Because
that's true.
They just have built-in confidence where it's just, and they're just different in nature. They're just different in nature.
Like you said, I think there is a different perspective towards women than it is towards men. And God, it's been this way since the dawn of time, where women had to be seen and not heard. Right. So all we had was what we thought was our outer appearance. Right. But honey, we have come to change the game now.
Yes.
We are looking to things to change the game now. Yolanda, thank you so much for coming on with me today and spending your time with me. I know we have tried this a couple of times. Y'all, there are some
they have no idea.
No idea. There was some interferences, y'all, that kept stopping me and Yolanda from getting on, but we are here today, and I think we're going to have a phenomenal time just chatting and having a conversation.
Okay.
All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and do your intro. Yolanda Florna Perkins.
Yes.
From prison to TEDx speaker, book author, and now innovator of Undies by Blendytone and Swimmy Caps. The first swim cap brand to feature images and pull-ups to feature images of brown kids to help embrace their natural hair and skin tone. Yolanda personifies the true meaning of a phoenix rising. After serving a 3-year prison sentence, Yolanda decided to reclaim control of her own life, graduating cum laude with a Bachelor's of Science in Criminal Justice in 2007, and later earning her master's degree in Health Services Administration from the Florida Gulf Coast University. She went on to further her education at Nova Southeastern University, where she earned a master's degree in Human Resource Management, and in June, this 2019, will receive her doctorate in education from Nova Southeastern University. A woman who chose to evolve while in the darkest place in her life became the woman who, when faced with fight or flight, chose to fight. It is my honor to welcome you, girlfriend, Yolanda Lorna Perkins, thank you so much for coming to the chat, coming to the fireside to share your story.
Thank you. I just get goosebumps the way you read that. Oh my God.
Yeah, you deserve it. You deserve it. If you got chill bumps hearing about yourself, I got chill bumps reading about you. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm ready to dive right in if you are.
Yes, let's go.
Let's go. Let's do this. So in reading your story during your college years, your undergrad years, I believe around the age of 22, you found yourself buried in a closet, contemplating the idea of not living this life anymore, not being here anymore, contemplating suicide. Can you take us back to that place? Where were you then? What was happening then?
So, well, I'll say this for the record. I don't think anybody as a child, when I hear my kids speak, I don't hear them say, I'm going to grow up and I want to go to prison, or, I'm going to grow up and I want to commit suicide. We don't hear about that. You don't hear that. So, I didn't grow up with those ideas in my mind. I want to say that. I also would like to say that I guess if my situation had have been like, oh, she came from a broken home, she had a missing parent in the household, she was abused, I think if those situations or scenarios had I experienced, it may have or would have given someone else a reason to say, oh, I see why she did what she did because of how she was raised. But that didn't happen. I grew up in a two-parent household. I know my dad, my mom. I don't have, my parents, my dad didn't go have any outside kids. Not that, that's what I did not experience that. My parents were very involved. We were not lowercase or lower class people, but we weren't high class either. But we lived in a house and we had like 5 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms, and I have 3 brothers and a sister. My parents were, when I say involved, very involved. So for me to get to that point, you would have to know why. And I think that the idea of contemplating suicide, not once, not twice, but 3 times, let's just say was very unsuccessful, obviously, because I'm here.
Thank goodness.
But it was because I did not see beyond my current situation. I was embarrassed. I come from a very small town, born and raised in Clewiston, Florida. And then to go to a city in Orlando where my parents sent me there for school, and I'm there doing everything else but that, word travels fast. And so I was embarrassed. And so after being sentenced, knowing that I'm getting ready to go to prison and then after what I saw on television or what you see on TV, there was no way. There was no way I was going to go to prison. Like, there was no way. So to me, an easy way out or a cop out for me was suicide, because I just felt like no one cared. And so they wouldn't miss me anyway. And I was already labeled this horrible individual. There was a picture already painted of me that I was just the scum of this earth. Like, so why would I want to live? Thankfully, it was neither time that I tried was a success. I'm blessed.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's what happened. That's what led me to that dark moment. For me to even come up with the idea that I was going to even try to commit suicide.
It's interesting when we talk about our family dynamic, coming from what we consider the beacon of a good home. Like you said, both parents were there. Both were very involved in your life, education, personal life. What was it that caused you to decide, I'm looking for something different after leaving home? What was it that you decided to get involved in that led to the experience with wanting to contemplate suicide? What was it?
I didn't realize, growing up, I didn't realize that I had, or I didn't know that I had an issue with self-esteem, I would say. I wasn't, now today you have all these women empowerment events. You have fireside, these type of events for women and platforms for women and men and young kids to be encouraged, to be inspired, to know that life is not over, right? But I didn't participate in any of those. And if they were happening in my community or in my town, I just didn't know about them. So I go from a small town country girl, to this huge city. And so I wasn't the prettiest, by all means growing up. I was okay. That's how I thought.
How you felt.
So then I go from this small town into this big city, and then just seeing these other girls or other young ladies that are my age or even older or even younger, and looking at them and them looking at, me looking at how they dress compared to how I dressed. I think I was just like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know people dress like that, or whatever the case may be. I just didn't know. And I think that in those instances, I started comparing myself to them. And growing up, in my household, in my Black family household, we didn't talk about counseling, or we didn't talk about empowerment. My mom didn't tell me, go look in the mirror and talk to yourself, and you tell yourself you can do this.
Right.
Like, she didn't do that. Like how I would do to my kids, my son and my daughter at a very early age. Like, I don't remember that happening.
Most Black families, that didn't happen.
Right.
Today we're still trying to make up for not.
Right. So I get into this big city, and I think I was just trying to fit in, and I fitted in, and this was because of a lack of experience, I think. I can't blame my parents, because my parents raised me to the best of their ability. They didn't go to college, so they can't tell me about college. And I don't really remember anyone in my immediate family going to college. So I think I'm the first. And
wow.
So, so I go, and I didn't think I was smart enough. So I didn't apply for a university. I went to the junior college because I just didn't think I could do it.
Yeah. And
from there, I get on this campus, and then I start seeing all these ladies, and, I'm looking like I'm country bunking, like, and then, and then there's guys, and I wanted their attention, but no one was looking at me. And so, the first guy that showed attention to me, I just wanted to please him by any means. Not that he verbally came out and said, you have to please me. It wasn't that. None of the discussion was never had about that. It was just something in my mind that I said, oh my gosh, if I want him to keep me, because I'm so smart, right? I'm so smart. If I can think of all this, I should have been thinking of other things. But I was so smart that I thought, okay, the best way, I remember when I bought him something, he liked that. So if I keep buying something, maybe he'll keep liking me. Woo. I later learned it didn't matter what I bought, because he was going to do whatever he wanted to do anyway.
So it was the desire to, number one, feel love, feel acceptance.
Yes.
Not like the outsider.
Yes. I wanted to just have friends. I wanted to,
of course.
I was always buying, hey, I'll pay for your nails. No, I got this for lunch. I'll do this.
Oh, wow.
I just thought that no one said no. So,
wow.
I didn't know. I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't know any better. I didn't have.
Right, of course.
I didn't know. Course. And so from those repeated feelings and circumstances, when my money ran out, I had to figure out, what can I do to keep him interested so that he wouldn't look at no one else. I was working in the mailroom at the time, and that was my job, working in the mailroom at the property offsite campus. In exchange from working there, I had free rent. So I still had to work, and I just didn't make enough to pay for other things. So including, you know, paying for people's stuff or whatever. So I don't know at what point. I just remember, and you have to understand, I not that I asked for any pity from anyone, because I was in my right frame of mind when I left my parents' house. I know the difference between right and wrong. I just always assumed, because I was from a small town, that nothing would happen to me or that I could get in trouble, because I never heard of anyone from Clewiston getting into big trouble unless they went into a big city. And so I don't know what moment. I think I was putting out the mail and I was like, oh, this was the wrong return address. They brought it back to the mail room. I had it in my bag, not on purpose. I think it just happened to be on my bag. I got ready to leave from my shift that day at 6 or 6:30. And I left. I got back to my room. And I think I opened up my bag to do whatever. And I saw it in here. And instead of returning it, I opened it.
Right.
And I had that there.
And that led to me saying, I wonder, does this work? So I took my little small-minded butt to the mall, because it happened to be a Macy's credit card. I didn't have any ID. And I went to the mall and I bought a shirt. I justified my actions as not drugs. No one's, I didn't have a habit. I wasn't trying to use it to go sell it for someone else to bring me money. And it wasn't that. I was just doing it for someone else. I mean, they didn't know I was doing it for them, or for them. So you get to court, you go to court, and you're sitting there and they're reading through some of the things, some of the, I suppose, charges. And the judge shouts out the sentence.
So before that happened, there was a process before that happened. One, I didn't know I was being investigated. Mm-hmm. And then two, once I was approached by investigators, I just thought that it would go away. I didn't realize that it was a really big, big, big problem. Three, once I was indicted, once the indictment came down, I had stopped. I wasn't doing that anymore. I stopped, but it had already happened. And so I was on my first day of my new job.
Wow.
And they came in on the first day of my new job at a college, and waited until all the students were changing courses or classes, and walked in their suits with the U.S. Marshals and the feds, and indicted me, arrested me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was 21.
Wow.
I was young.
Yes.
I at that point, I still didn't realize the magnitude of my behavior. I didn't realize I just didn't realize how big it was until I went to jail, and it was time for us to take a shower. And I said, I'm not taking a shower. And the correctional officer lady said, you should want to take one. You're going to be in here for a while.
Oh, wow.
The next day I was arraigned in court. And that's when my mom, my sister, and my boyfriend, was he there? I think, I can't remember that part, but that was the day I went to court. The day that I was arrested and taken to court, I think I kind of realized it was a big deal when I saw the reporters outside.
Wow.
And then I went to court. I was arraigned the next day from the court to the courthouse, to the federal courthouse. And that's when I saw more reporters. And I was like, there's no way they're here for me. Like, there's no way. There's no way. Like, I didn't do anything this big. But they were. Wow. And it was in court. I was arraigned on the charges, or was told the charges of credit card fraud and possession of stolen mail. And that there was an attorney there that my mom had. There was no way she was going to pay for him or afford him, but he was there. And I was released to my mom's care.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a date that would be had. And there was a lot of other things that took place. I was very ignorant. My entire family was ignorant, as far as ignorance to what the law, what
this process, right? How this, right? What's actually happening?
Yeah, it was a lot going on. It was a lot, and I just remember leaving the courthouse and my sister covering me with her shirt or her jacket because we couldn't get through the crowd. And I realized then that it was serious. And from there, the suicidal thoughts began from there, because there was no way. I withdrew. I only came out at night. There was one instance where I had been on campus after this had happened, and I got pulled over by the police. And the minute he pulled me over and I rolled down my window, I remember saying, "I'm so sorry. I'm Yolanda. I'm the one that was on TV. I'm so sorry." And the dude was just like, "You ran a red light."
Wow.
I was so nervous. I tried to smoke a cigarette. I went to the store and bought a pack of cigarettes, and I tried to smoke, and I couldn't. And I think it was easier for me to say I'm going to commit suicide and actually try and do it than to smoke cigarettes. And that's how that happened.
Wow.
And then eventually I was sentenced. I was sentenced, and when the judge sentenced me to, I think I was facing like 25 years.
Wow.
And this is where the lack of ignorance come in at. We don't know a lot. And when I mean we, my family, and a lot of people don't know about sentencing and all this stuff. So I was told, you need to plead, because if you don't plead guilty, you're going to take up the government's time, and then they're going to give you more time for taking up their time. And then I think my attorney was looking for more attention as well.
Oh, wow.
I have Dateline on the phone. They want to talk to you. They want to interview you before you go in. And I'm like, dude, I barely want to come out the house. I'm not going on TV to talk to Dateline.
Wow.
And so it was a lot. It was a lot. It happened fast. I'm so grateful that social media was not where it is today, because I probably would have committed suicide. I would have continued until I had been successful.
With all the attention around it.
Yes, I probably
because of the feeling of embarrassment. You didn't. Yeah,
it was enough. It was enough.
Right,
the feeling of embarrassment was so painful to that I wouldn't have felt anything anyway.
I'm going to say that I resonate and relate to your story more than you know at this point. And one thing I can say for sure is that, in my opinion, attorneys are for sale to the highest bidder and to cases that have the most publicity around it, especially in small town cases, or especially from people in small towns or from small towns, because there's no other story to report or talk about. So they flock to the first thing that comes aboard. So when you said, this could possibly be all for me or all around me.
No. Right. Not only did I have to deal with that, I also had to deal with the school. So every time I went to court, or every time there was a hearing for school, it was a huge deal. There was always reporters around. And I remember being asked, did I want to have a student body present type to handle my case at the school, or did I want just the officials, or however it was. And I remember I chose to not have students because I had taken students' credit cards, so there was no way. But either way, it ended up not in my best interest. I was released from the university immediately, and that was it. I forgot the term that they used. At this point, I think I'm still not quite really sure about everything. I'm thinking that I'm still, I'm going to be all right. I'm not going to go to prison.
Yeah.
But the day that I go to court to be sentenced, the judge, I apologized. And I don't remember a lot that happened that day, because it was just blur. I just was,
Right.
I think the pictures of me in court was just like, this girl was dazed out.
Wow.
You know, I was, you know, I remember him saying that, you know, we're going to use this as an example for you to never do this again.
Wow.
And you know, I can't speak for everyone else. I can't speak for everyone else, but what I can say is that I was rehabilitated the day they took me to jail. I didn't need handcuffs, because that was just the beginning of handcuffs for me when I got in the prison system. I just felt like there were other options or alternatives that could have been had. But I didn't know how to say that. I didn't know how to communicate that. I didn't know how to express that. I just know that I didn't realize the extent of what I did. And I know that I'm not a bad person. I just knew that I had done something, and I thought that I didn't hurt anyone. Like, I wasn't physically hurting anyone, you know? Right. And so for me, I didn't see why I was going to prison. So I became very angry. And of course, there was no way I was going to go to prison. So the idea of committing suicide, I tried to commit suicide, but it just wasn't successful. You know, there was always someone, maintenance crew, trying to come into my apartment to fix something that would find me. And it just, you know, today I'm like grateful it was nobody but God, and you know, but at the time, like, I didn't see, I thought I was remorseful, but I wasn't remorseful until after I got to prison. I didn't realize the impact that my actions had, not only on me, but my family, my mother, you know, the number of times that she boasted about me. You know, I had went to Argentina at the age of 15 to participate in an exchange program. Yolanda was going off to college. Yolanda was going to be this ambassador. You know, like, there was no signs that this was going to happen to her, to me, you know. And for this to impact my family, I embarrassed them. I embarrassed the heck out of them. And there was no reason for me to go and do that.
The tears are coming down your face right now in this moment. And almost like you're reliving this experience and the emotions and the response from your family. Why are you feeling these emotions right now? You know, what's happening for you?
Because I think about, not even just me, there's so many women that I've met in prison. That if I hadn't went to prison, I wouldn't know all this. You know, I saw people being, you know, coming off of the drugs, having withdrawals. There was no, to me, why are these people in prison? They should be in a drug center for rehab or something. Right. Just, you know, there were so many women that was in prison because they were, you know, because of conspiracy. That was the biggest thing, because someone said they were there, or because someone said they knew them there. And it just amazes me. It just amazes me. I was so young, and it was my semester that I was scheduled to graduate from college. And instead of preparing for graduation and enjoying my 22, you know, at the age of 22, I was getting ready to go to prison. Like, there was nothing exciting about that. For my 25th birthday, I'm in transit, shackled up because of boot camp being canceled. Now I have to go back through the feds, through the U.S. Marshals, and I'm on my 25th birthday. So, and I hear people, oh, for my 25th, I did this. Yeah, I was shackled. But it's because of the decisions that I made. And it's not, I'm crying. I have these tears because it is emotional. I lived it. As much as I at times I want to forget that it happened, I can't. Right. I can't. And so to sit here and think about it, and to talk about it, you know, I don't want anyone to think, oh my God, poor Yolanda. No, you know, there just should have been other avenues. But what I know is that these judges are bound by this sentencing guideline. They have restrictions, and it's just ridiculous that they can't go outside the guidelines, or they can't go below the guidelines. They have to stick you based off the guidelines.
Wow.
And
yeah.
I just think it's horrible for a lot of people who are so young. You know, you didn't have to give me a convicted felon. You should have looked at me and said, this girl is 22 years old.
She's young, so consider it so-called first time offender, what they would call first time offender. She does have her whole life. She's a freaking senior in college, about to graduate, because we see it happen, Yolanda. We see those that don't look like you and I.
Oh yeah.
Say, oh, you know what? I'm not going to ruin your life, Tom or Sarah. You know, you've got your whole life ahead of you. You made a mistake. We're going to give you a warning. We're going to give you a slap on the wrist, and we're going to let you go on with your life. Yolanda, we still do it to this day in the system. We still see it today. It has not changed. So going back to some of the conditions in prison or in some of these jails, you say that seeing some of the conditions changed your perspective, or what you saw changed your perspective. And what I know all too well, I have had the opportunity and currently have the opportunity to work with Black Lives Matter organizations like Southerners on New Ground here in Georgia, other women empowerment organizations that work closely with women in prisons and in jails. And I've seen some of the conditions. We've gone to Justice Day at the Capitol here in Atlanta, Georgia, where we have heard the stories of women who had to fight just to get sanitary napkins, just to get pads. We've heard stories from women who gave birth in prison and never got to hold their baby, women who had miscarriages because of being shackled and thrown to the ground, lost their babies in prison, women who were still bleeding from miscarrying with dry blood on their bodies. So we have heard the most horrid stories of how women, especially Black women, are treated in this criminal justice system. What did you see firsthand that made you say, this is something that I want to expose?